This video I'm going to cover some of the basics that you will want to acquire to clean and service handguns and rifles both. Some of these items are for rifles only, some of them are for handguns only, but I'm just going to cover all of the various items that I have here and what I use them for and why you probably want to get one or more of each various item. First thing I'm going to go over is this tray here. I really like this tray. I picked it up at Gander Mountain. It's not overly expensive. I think it was about 20 bucks. It's a plastic tray. It's got several little holders in it that are good for having bottles of solution, various other places you can store tools or other items you need to clean. It's also, of course, it's like a rubbery plastic. It's good for keeping any of the chemicals or spills or any of the residue that might come off the gun as you're cleaning it. It keeps it from getting on the surface that you're working on. These blocks here also have a very soft rubber lining on the edge of them where they would make contact with the gun, and there's a couple different settings here, a couple different places you can put them to move them further in or out. Real quick, how a rifle would sit in this while you're cleaning it, holds it fairly steady, and like I said, the soft rubber on the stands here keeps both the stock and the barrel from getting scratched up or any marks or anything like that. So now that I've covered this little piece, I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way so I can see what I'm doing with some of these other pieces. Now for some of the items here, first thing I'm going to go over is the cotton patches. They come in multiple different sizes. These are used for applying solvent to the gun, wiping it down. They're run through the barrel to soak the barrel with solvent and wipe out any dissolved residue. These aren't overly expensive. There's nothing special about them. They're just cotton patches. They can be obtained at any gun store, any outdoor sporting goods store. Do not use like facial cotton patches because they leave behind a lot of fibers. These are pretty well lint free, so they won't leave any fibers or anything else in your gun. So they're not, the small patches here I have was a bag of 1,000, large ones here, a bag of 250. You'll typically use anywhere from maybe 3 to 5 patches per cleaning, so these will last you quite a while. Like I said, pretty much any gun store, any outdoor sporting goods store, they can be obtained at. Next would be some of the solvents, cleaners, and lubricants. What I've got here is Hoppy's number 9. This is one of the products I really like to use for cleaning the copper, lead, and residue out of the barrel, as well as dissolving any residue on other parts of the gun that end up getting caked or gunked up. Stuff stinks like you wouldn't believe, but it does work really well. Even my grandpa used this stuff. It's been around for a long time, so really good stuff. I also have Rem oil. Rem oil, I use this for getting down in trigger assemblies and any other small parts that don't typically get disassembled during a field strip of a gun. I'll oftentimes use Rem oil in those to keep them lubricated. It also has a mild solvent to it, so it'll break up any carbon or anything that's stuck down in what you're spraying. Another product that's good for that, Ballistol. This is a very good product for cleaning and lubricating. Another thing that this seems to work for, it was recommended to me when I first bought one of my first leather holsters, is give the inside of the leather holster a regular spray with this stuff. Keeps the leather moist and soft. So it's got quite a few different uses. I think this stuff even stinks worse than the Hoppy's number 9. So I don't know what it is with the smell of some of these products, but this stuff will really get you. Next, Tetragun. This is grease that can be applied to and then wiped down on any components inside the firearm that have a lot of friction and movement. I'll use this on the slide rails for my semi-automatic pistols. I'll also use it on outside of the bolt carrier group in an AR-15. Can also be used to lubricate a bolt on a bolt action rifle. Stuff works really well. It does not liquefy under high temperatures, so it's really good. It's specifically made for gun lubrication. Do not use car grease, engine grease, chain grease, anything like that inside your firearms. Make sure whatever you're using is actually designed to be used inside a firearm. Another good thing to have here, this is a small kit that I bought. I bought this one at Gander Mountain. You can pick them up. You can even get them at Walmart. I think Walmart sells one of these for, if I remember correctly, it's like 15 bucks, something like that. And it just contains some basic items, some push rods, bore brushes, jags, and patch holders. The patch holders are used to thread a patch through so that you can run it down the barrel of the gun. You can see it's basically looks like the eye of a needle there, and you can just run a patch through the patch holder. Get a patch here just to show you. And you just fold the patch in half, thread it through the patch holder, and there you go. It's ready to be pushed down the barrel of the gun. Patch holder, some people prefer a jag as opposed to the patch holder. This has a very similar function. It's just got a pointed tip on it, and what you would do is basically spear the center of the patch to push it down through the barrel. Also bore brushes. Bore brush is used to knock any carbon residue, any fouling, any powder out of the barrel to make sure that it's nice and clean and that there's no obstructions for when you use it in the future. These are typically made out of brass or copper, which is a softer metal than what the barrel's made out of, so that you don't scratch or otherwise damage the barrel. The push rods here, there's multiple extensions for different length guns. I don't use these. They're little cotton puff balls, which could be used in place of patch or to apply solvent to the gun. I don't typically use these just because they would have a very limited number of uses before they get really fouled up. So I just stick with the patches typically. Said these aren't overly expensive. Come in a nice little wood box. Get them at Walmart or Gander Mountain or your local gun store. This is a higher quality push rod that I picked up. This is what I use for cleaning out some of my rifles, and the individual sections of it here just screw together like that, and then the handle spins independently. And the reason for this is as you're pushing the patch or the bore brush down the barrel of the gun, you want the shaft to twist with the rifling that's inside the gun. So when you're holding it, you hold it by the handle to push it down through the barrel, and it will spin with the rifling. And that's what you want to make sure that it gets everything good and clean in there.